Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Today I'm here with the eufyMake E1 UV printer. This thing is amazing. A lot of people have been showing the sample products that Eufy sends with the machine. Cups, magnets, coasters, canvases, things like that. Again, you will see those in the review videos that I'm going to link below. It's very good at that. If you want to use this to start an Etsy business, doing that kind of stuff, it's great work. Now, the main focus of today's video is going to be a holiday build. I've been commissioned to recreate the house from Home Alone, and I will be using the eufyMake printer to create one of the most iconic parts of that house, and I'll show you how to do that a little bit later. So first, I'm going to cut away to when I made a little emergency repair kit that I sent to my clients, and you'll see how I made that right now. I got a bunch of these little metal tins. Usually what I include in this is I fold up a shop towel, and I put that in there with a Q-tip, some little mini plastic tweezers, some super glue, and I close that up. Using the eufyMake, I've also branded some brushes, and these are just, for dust or something like that. I always include that as well. But now we can brand this box. So let's put it in the eufyMake and slap our logo on there and see how it looks. And there we have it. Look at that, guys. That is so professional. That does not come off, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's got a little bit of a relief. It feels really nice. And like giving this to a client, I mean, how cool is that? I've also branded a couple of other things, like these nippers that I use. I bought a bunch of generic yellow ones. I use these all the time, and how cool is that? If you would want to have something printed like that, it is possible, but you'd probably have to order 1,000 of them overseas. It would take forever. And if you make a typo or something like that, you're screwed. You now have 1,000 of them. But one thing I wanted to highlight, not exactly holiday related, but anyone that's familiar with my work knows I released a product this year called Nostalgia TV. And it was sort of like an 80s basement that played some videos. It did really well. It sold out like 3 times. So I'm thankful for anyone that bought that maybe is watching. So as part of that build, I made a Nintendo entertainment system. Now the housing is modeled and 3D printed by me and hand painted. Now the problem with that is, if you can see here, the lettering, the logo on the thing is just red scribbles because it's so tiny. I popped this into the eufyMake and printed directly onto the Nintendo. That is a level of detail that you can only get with a machine like this. Now, let me show you a full walkthrough of how I'm going to use this to add something special to my Home Alone house. So here we have my replica Home Alone house. It's almost done, but any keen observers have probably noticed there's no wreath on the door. I'll be honest, I explored making a wreath in other ways with greenery and adding little beads and things like that. But at this tiny scale, this is 1/43rd scale, it just wouldn't have looked right. So here's what I did. So because the door is black, I'm going to be using some black styrene to print on. We're going to print the wreath on this and then cut it out so we can glue it to the door. And now we can go into eufyMake Studio and take a snapshot, and we can bring in that image, and then we're going to go to relief texture. Now this is where the magic happens. It's going to scan the image and decide, you know, what should be raised, what should be lowered, and it's going to give us a little preview, and it did a great job. And let's get that printed. Push the big green button, and it's ready to go. So one of the things I want to highlight while this prints is that if you're using this for miniatures and you're printing tiny things, the ink will last forever because these prints are so small. I've seen people print entire canvases and their ink lasts a fairly long time. If you're printing this type of size stuff, it's going to feel unlimited. It's really an amazing tool for this purpose. Guys, how insanely cool is that? I need to switch cameras to get you guys the level of detail. 1 second. I don't know if you guys realize how tiny this is, but that is my finger. How insane. I'm sorry for the wobbliness, but I need to get in close. Now all we gotta do is cut this out, which will get rid of the white spray around, and attach it to the house. I'm just gonna dab the edges with a little bit of green because it does use the white to create the relief. So sometimes you might have a little bit of a white edge on there, but that can very quickly be fixed. I have been shopping around for a UV printer for, I would almost say, years. I know what they do, I know what they're capable of, and I know how they can help me in my miniature model making business that I've been doing for 20 years. The reason I hadn't gotten one is most of them are huge. They're upwards of $5,000 to $10,000. This was the first one that I saw that was smaller, super easy to use, very smart, self-cleaning. I can go on and on. This is not a technical review. I'm going to make that clear. This is really focused on how it's used in model making, miniature making, whether you do it as a hobby or as a profession like myself. Now, I'm briefly going to go over a couple of the technical things. Again, this is not a technical review. I'm not a reviewer. It's just not what I do. But if for whatever reason you have not heard of this machine and you don't know certain things, I'll just show you really quickly. So it opens up here in the front. You have your print bed. It also opens up in the back if you have larger items. And it also comes with a larger print bed that you can swap in to print on larger surfaces. And this will move up and down, front and back to align itself with whatever you're printing on. You have your self-cleaning cartridge on the side here, and you have your air filtration system right here. Super clean. Different videos, different people have said that they smell certain things. I don't really smell anything. Maybe I'm just used to having smells in my shop. I don't know. I don't really smell anything. In terms of noise, I would equate it to an inkjet printer. Not much louder, especially if the front lid is closed. If it's open, it's a little bit louder, but it's nothing that would stop you from watching a YouTube video while it's printing. Up here you have your inks, and you have this little window that comes out, and you can take a look inside there. And you have your main button here that you just press when you want the print to start. That's pretty much the very general scope of it. This thing has like lasers to measure the height of your object. It takes a picture, and you can place your design directly on whatever it is you're printing. Well, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this gave you some ideas of how this machine can be used to uplift your miniatures to the next level. This machine can get you details that no other can. Check out the links below for more information.